Let me know if you can hear me and it's all good. That I'm not sounding like a chipmunk again or like Barry White. When I get your thumbs up, I'll start it all off. Camera on. And let's start with a song. Or rather, an instrumental. Hi, everyone. How are you? It's Claude, as usual, on a Friday in my little room, streaming out to the world. Streaming out to the world. Sorry, I had to do that. I have a sense of humor. You know, I may have dressed in black when I was young and been a goth and all that, but I always had a sense of humor. Jay, the teacher says, imagine the time and energy saved if you did a whole instrumental. What? I lost that chat. Hold on. Of course I did. Really? Okay. There. There. computer is being funny. Imagine all the time and energy saved if you had done an instrumental album. Yeah, of course. But then I wouldn't get to do the thing that I love to do the most, which is to sing. Remember, singing is something I love to do. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I never was going to go into singing. I was always into singing. So ever since I jumped up and down a couch with a broom in my hand and pretended to be the Beatles, that's been the case. But anyway, I digress already. Oh shit. Well, who can say? It is about death after all. Or rather, it's interesting. Let's just say it's going to be interesting. The song choices have been interesting for today. So I had to stick two in there of my own accord, and one of them I'll give it away now, so that anyone that's tuning in, I'll give you an incentive. There is a remix of "Living in Oblivion" that is not anywhere at all because it's new, that I will play at the 9th hour, meaning 9 o'clock. So that's what you get. So you'll have to wait for that. That's going to be the only clubby like thing, really. Sort of. It's like the antithesis of last week. But anyway, I want to say hi to a few people that are online just because, and let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I could do it with the moon chat, because that might be fun. Let's see. Can I? Oh, it might be. Yay. Look at that. I can go up the chat and see it like, oh. Alfonso's in the house on YouTube. Jay the teacher. Almi, hi. Todd, how you doing? Eric Bustos in the house, representing El Paso, of course. Bramble Davis, no more estrogen pills. Sounds good. That's good. Oh, I've got, what? Who's that? Oh, that's me. Cybot Cam. Hey, Amelia's in the house on Twitch. Let me know how it sounds on Twitch. Although I will say that everyone keeps telling me that the YouTube version sounds the best, but I'm not sure. Gods in Law and no more testosterone pills either. Great. JPK, how are you? Bramble Davis, Joe Hernandez, Jay the teacher, Lalo's in the house, and yes, I've got your other request. Steven, Mikey's in the house. How you doing, Mike? Mike was just at the Twin Peaks thing, and that was cool. He was telling me all about it. I have pictures. You'll have to share them. Hi, Wendy. Claudio B in the house. I'm glad you're here. Mark and Angela Acuna, and now it's like starting to move. And that's about as far as I can go. Okay, without getting into trouble. Because it's hard to maintain things when I'm doing this sort of thing. But as is always the case on this thing, news comes first. And I don't mean like world news, because we already know what all that crap is, so I'm not going to even get into it. We don't do that here. We try to this is our little hideaway to escape the real world so we can talk about death. Yeah, that'll work. I'm running on empty. Oh, jeez. Good to have you here, though. But anyway, the news is that, of course, on March 8th, which is next week, I will be in San Diego. I don't like that picture of me. But anyway, yeah, so Saturday, March 8th, I will be at the Casbah, 2501 Kettner Boulevard, San Diego, with Bob Haro and Blacklight, with guest DJ Heather Hardcore. And I don't know why you can't see her there, because I can't scroll the thing up, and that's just sad. Sorry, but I will post a better flyer all week long, so you'll see more of this stuff. But yeah. And coming up in April, I am going to Corpus Christi. And after that, in May, I have a show in Los Angeles that's going to be announced this weekend. And then I go to Germany to play Leipzig, which I'm starting to get really stoked and very nervous about that gig. If everything goes right. So that's what's going on in my world. Although, if you noticed on Spotify, there's some releases happening, and I might as well get the rest of the shilling stuff out of the way. So I've been releasing um, different versions of Living in Oblivion on Spotify. They are not the 1990 version, and the only reason I'm clearing that up is because I've had to do some interesting paperwork gymnastics in the last couple days for YouTube and the Library of Congress. So it's a little bit odd, all the stuff that's going on with that. But I'll keep you posted as I can. But the reality of it is, so yeah, Living in Oblivion is up on Spotify with different mixes. And you're gonna hear so much of Living in Oblivion, you're probably gonna get sick of it because from now until the until I probably leave for Germany, every single week there's gonna be a different remix coming out. It's gonna be like mixology on steroids. So yeah, expect the unexpected. It's coming. So it's gonna be cool. And for the Casbah show, man, I have such a cool set planned. And if it works out, it will really look good too. But I just I can't tell you what it is. I have a week to prepare for it, and I'm so not ready, but I think it's gonna work. Um, so tour schedule, Bramble says, Bramble Davis on YouTube says, Houston, where's the tour schedule? Um, well, I don't know. I don't know yet. But I know there's going to be dates, as we get closer to summer. Of course, things are going to open up and I'm going to see, we'll have certain dates. I know certain parameters that certain promoters are waiting on, which, to be honest with you, is not looking good. But the reality of it is, I am the band. So as far as like shows go, I mean, there's going to be interesting shows coming up. So anyway, but yeah, so this week I'm going to be doing rehearsals and all that kind of stuff. So that's funny. Yeah, I don't know that there's going to be a mixology on CD or vinyl. I don't think so. It might be too big. Um, it might be way too big for vinyl, and I don't see the need at this point in time. I'll save the vinyl for something else, but Oblivion for the moment is gonna just stay as well. Well, actually, there's part of this news that we have to talk about when we come back. So I'll play a song because I don't want to talk for like 20 minutes. I tend to talk too much as it is. As it is. So this one was not really requested by anyone. I just thought this one would be good for tonight's theme. This is it's weird. I had to dig into like some really old stuff to pull some of these because one in particular was a really cool request, and I'll get to it. So I kind of want to stagger them a little bit. This is movement 1 and 2. I'm going to play that, and then when we come back, I'll continue with the news, and we'll get right into something that happened to me yesterday that, well, it's been going on all week actually, and I'll tell you all about it. But just for disclaimer's sake, no one in my family has died. No one that's close to me at the moment that's in my immediate circle has died. So this is not about that type of thing. It's about how we think about death, how we feel about death, and how that can be used as a reason to be creative and a reason to really live. Because let me tell you, well, never mind. I'll tell you when I come back. I don't want to spoil it. All right. We'll, yeah, overhead. Visuals. Sounds good. It's a brand new day in my lonely woods. I know you can hear me praying on my knees. Moment nothing else to do once I've talked to you. I am listening just to hear you say anything at all in symbolic ways. Reality's a dream in your loving heart. If you should awaken, I wonder what you'll find. Here I sit alone, wondering, does life have a purpose? And the world I know is nothing more than your dream and an illusion. Your dream and my 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 illusion. Yes, it's me again. I've come to talk to you. I know it was only yesterday, but you see, I have questions on my mind again. Something that I need to have from you. You've been here as long as I remember it, patiently answering anything I ask of you. So if it's possible, could you tell me who I am? I've traveled oh so long, could you tell me who I am? Perhaps one day I'll find that everything happens for a reason, and this thing called life is nothing more than your dream and my illusion. 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 Your I'm back. So, this subject. The subject. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna. I'm trying to make light of it all because I had a. It's been rather a strange week, in that, um, I started to have these weird dreams where I felt like I don't know how to explain it. Okay, so the dreams themselves are just bizarre, surreal dreams. Nothing to write home about, just really weird dreams. But what would happen is that I would wake up, and in that moment that I would wake up, this thought would get planted into my skull, and it would sort of start to take root. And like all thoughts, if it makes you go down a little rabbit hole of sorts, it's like the rabbit hole of sorts, like let me give you an example before I tell you what happened. One such rabbit hole could be like, what if I lost my job tomorrow? And then you're like, how much money do I have in the bank? Oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? And then it just takes you further into the panic zone until you realize, relax, you haven't lost your job. It's just a what if situation, and you've gone down that rabbit hole in your head, and it's just your head. It's all in your head, pun intended. So I was having these weird dreams, and when I woke up, um, I would have these weird sort of, I don't want to call them panic attacks because that's not what they are, but it's a sort of anxiety feeling of when I'm when I'm at that moment of death, what's going to happen? Like, will I just cease to exist? Will I not have any more thought? Will I never see a sunset? And it's just like this weird little thing would play out in my head, and it would start to really really bug me until the point where I would kind of like, oh my God, oh my God. I don't want to think about this. Like, why am I thinking about this? And then I wouldn't be able to sleep. So I've not had good sleep for the last couple days, or not the best sleep, I should say, which was already not good, right? So, um, in that week, I've been very productive. And one of the things that I sort of attributed to is actually living in oblivion, which is very interesting to bring this up. And it has something to do with, okay, well, first of all, disclaimer here, I am never wanting to give away any sort of lyrical meaning of anything, because then it would ruin it for you. So I'm not going to ruin the song for you by telling you what it means to me or what the lyrics mean for me. But I can tell you this. The chorus itself does say, I am so afraid of living in oblivion. Well, what is oblivion? Oblivion is nothingness, right? Or an emptiness, the abyss, right? What do they say? If you stare at the abyss long enough, it stares back. So, so it's one of those weird situations, right? So I guess that working on the song and cleaning up its vocals and trying to get the stems done for the remixers. Yes, it's still coming, I promise. I worked on that all week. By having, by sort of having this relationship with that song, which is very different from when I'm playing it out live and I'm singing it, because when I'm singing it, it's just a song and it feels great. And we're literally in a party mode, because that's really what happens when that song gets done. So therefore, I can honestly say that it doesn't occur when I'm singing it. But for some reason, when I was working on the recordings and fixing them, and maybe that's tied to this other thing that's going on with the song, which you know what it is. Um, having to like take time to write out letters to, the government about like copyright law and all this other crap, that stuff that I really don't want to do, but I have to. So all that kind of stuff, I think, kind of filtered into my skull a little bit, and that might be one of the reasons. But I only thought of that today, like right before this thing. So I can't say for certain that that's the reason, but it feels like that's the reason. But then this happened. So this happened yesterday. I was going to Trader Joe's, and by the way, before I tell the story, sorry, I don't mean to like. Sorry. I messed up. Hi, Mai. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Steve. I just saw you on the chat. Nice. Um, Before I tell you this story, um, like I said, it's been it's been a bit of a weird, rough week. I was trying to in working on the Living in Oblivion thing. I'm going to show you something funny here. So this is semi-techy, but it's not that bad. I have here, these are cartridges from my old ESQ, including one that's inside of a cassette case. It doesn't even have an outer casing. It just looks like a chip. And the ESQ that I have, it's not my original, but it's a lot like my original, but it's not my original. I guess someone did some work on it and they replaced the battery really badly. And so it's been funky to begin with. And I tried to fix it by replacing the battery myself, and it has not worked out. Now, the beauty of it is that I can go back and sample the weird sounds it's making. So I'm going to not turn it on until I can get a recorder attached to it so I can grab all the sounds I can off of it that are coming out weird. But it kind of makes me sad that it's basically dead. So that's one of the things that died. And then, which is, obviously it's a piece of equipment. It's meaningless stuff, but I have another one in the garage that I'm going to open, and that one needs its battery replaced. And this time, of course, I think that one's going to be fine. So I've got two to mess around with. So that's good. But anyway, I digress. See what happens? So this is what happened to me yesterday. So I went to Trader Joe's and I was about to go shopping. It was just me in the car. And when I parked my car, I noticed that there was, like, in the car next to me, there was a baby in the back seat and the back door was open. So from where I was, where I was sitting, it looked like the baby had been either abandoned or that, someone had just, I don't know, left the door open when they left their baby in the car. So this is what I first saw. So I get out of the car and I go around, to see what's going on here. And the mom is doubled over and her hands are literally touching the pavement. So it freaked me out. I have not seen death up close, but only once. And I'll tell you about that when we come back. But it freaked me out. So I tried rousing her and I was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" The baby was like remarkably calm, wasn't crying or anything, but it was a scary situation. So I got on the phone and I'm calling the cops and I'm trying to explain, like, look, there's a lady, I don't know if she's dead or what's wrong with her, but she's not moving. And so I'm sitting there uh, waiting for the cops to come. And then someone comes out of a store, literally like hits the woman. And then she wakes up, I guess, out of some weird stupor. And then I'm like, what's going on here? And she's like, she's a junkie and she's going to wind up dead one day. And I'm like, but the baby, and like, I'm trying to like to explain to her, like, how could you, leave it like this? And she's like, she goes, I was right there. I was watching. And so anyway, long story short, she gets in the car and drives away, but it's just that weirdness. I was so messed up that by the time I got home, I was literally like shaking. Because like I said, I don't see things like this right in my face very often, but it just made that whole mortality thing come back and like impress itself on my skull. Does that make sense? Like it just stuck with me. And it's funny because I got to tell you that I had already picked this topic before that happened. So it was crazy. Like I don't know. Like it was just bugging me, man. Like not just so much that I experienced this, that like that I was there and I saw it, and obviously I'm glad that she was okay, and I'm glad that whatever, the baby seemed fine, and it seemed like the person that got in the car was her mom or her older sister or something. I don't know, but the idea is it can come for you at any moment. Death can come at any moment, and that's the thought that came with that event. Um, and I was kind of moody all night long, and I was playing really weird music, and then I got myself into a mood, you know? So, yeah, it's been a strange week of, you know, trying to sort this out. And it's made me like think a lot about, well, what happens? Like, what do I myself believe if I'm afraid of this? Why am I afraid? So I had to think about, why am I afraid of death? Or what is it about it that is so scary to us human beings? You know? So I'm going to play the next song, which is a request. This one is from Lalo, who wants to hear Everybody Has a Wish. Good one. And in the comments or in the chat, as we are right now, although tomorrow when this video gets published or whatever, yeah, feel free to put your, thing in the comments there. But let me know, what do you think about death? Like, what do you think happens? Or what is your belief system about death? How often has it like come into your psyche? And that's funny. Claudio B says on Facebook, I just got to have more cowbell. Don't fear the reaper. Nice. Well, yeah, too often. Well, yeah, it's this, well, anyway, listen, type in your thoughts on this. I want you to do it. I don't care if it's from the scientific point of view. I don't care if it's from the spiritual point of view, whether you're, Catholic, Jewish, whatever it is, right? Atheist, put it down in there in the chat. I want to see what you think about um what you think happens. And we'll continue this conversation. All right? So let's turn on the visuals again. Although I think we can do something better than the cube this time. Yeah, oh yeah, the cassette's fine. Everybody has a wish.
Everybody has a wish they long to have. Everybody has a wish they long to have.
Sorry about that. I'm reading it. I'm reading all your comments, and they're amazing. So I'm going to read a few of them here because I think it's good to see the different types of belief systems that we have. There is no right or wrong. I'm not trying to make this a debate. I don't want us to debate it because there is one thing that we can agree on before I read anything, and I'm going to tell you what it is. I wrote it down actually because I want this to be crystal clear. You may never find love, wealth, fame, creativity, complete freedom, all the riches in the world, the answer to every single encyclopedic scientific piece of knowledge, but you will find death, or it will find you. That is inevitable. Whatever happens after that is all conjecture from different points of view. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't believe in everything that some of the things that I'm going to read. I'm basically saying that no matter what happens, we die. Something does die. So, I'm going to go back up. Let's see. Where is it? There was a few that really stuck out to me. So, and and if I ask you this question, don't take it like an assault. So, Joe Hernandez, all we know about death is our body is dead, but our spirit lives on. Our light can be seen by our loved ones or closest friends. But can they? Like, what makes us think that we can? And then Todd Livingston on Facebook said, that's it. We're done. And of course, I asked Todd at that moment, like, would he live life differently, and or would that change anything? And he replied, he says, it doesn't change anything. I more want to enjoy while I can everything I can, because worse than death is living but not being able to do things you enjoy. So I take that to mean something very similar to what I said at the beginning of the thing, which was, or rather, it was on a slide, and it's only because it's only because you're going to die someday that these days that you are alive can have some meaning, and you have to find some meaning. Um, on a different side of this, Alfonso says, also on Facebook, death is a sleep state. Next waking moment when death is destroyed is face to face with my loving God, Jesus Christ himself. I like that one. I do like that one. And I will admit that that is closer to my own side of things, but not always. It wasn't always that way with me. Um, Lalo had an interesting one, which, by the way, Lalo, I hope you realize that last song was for you. Um, I like your take on it, though. Lalo says, I'm not really afraid of death. I think we transcend to another plane of existence where we continue to learn and experience more things, but with a better understanding of everything. And my question was, do we have permission to come back here and talk to people and, interact with them? Because to me, that would seem to be the strange fallacy of the whole, like, we become spirits, because I would want to come back, and then I would want to be able to interact with my living relatives and whatnot, and it would pain me that they would be going through something and I wouldn't be able to stop it. So I don't think that would make for a very pleasant afterlife. So, but I love this. Joe on Facebook also said, I love every minute of every day and go hard and enjoy it to the fullest because tomorrow is never promised. I like that one. That's something that my girlfriend always says. She always says that. Remember, tomorrow's never promised. That is one of her core sayings. Um, you only live once, and tomorrow's never promised. That's her line. Um, And then continuing with Lalo, sorry, I'm going to read a lot of your comments because it's more about what you think, not what I think, so that I can learn and discern from where we are. Because I love the idea of taking in your ideas about this, because I think it'll help me more than me just dwelling on it. So you're actually helping me with therapy right now. You are my therapist. But Lalo says, I think there are other planes of existence, less material to this plane, but not pure energy. I think that while we progress on understanding, we will be more energy than matter. That's an interesting take. You know what's funny is if you think about that one and you marry that one to Alfonso's theory that we're asleep, um, it could be that the matter and energy goes and becomes something else until it is needed or awakened at the end, or whatever that is. Um, so anyway, I played this idea in my head, and I actually came to like this sort of, I don't want to say conclusion, but I will put it like this. I came to a sort of understanding in my own heart, of all things, that the reality was that my need to express and be creative probably is some aspect of, I don't want to say insurance, but I guess you could call it that. You could say that by creating something like an album or by writing a book or by painting a picture or even having this conversation that will stay on YouTube, and who knows where else these things will go. Once I'm gone, if I'm gone and stopped, um, then some part of me will stay here and be experienced by everyone else. I won't be completely gone in that sense. So that's a comforting thought. Um, and I'm pretty sure that there's some creatives that probably think this way, that they express to leave something behind. Um, Eric says, I'm not saying that I'm afraid of death. What if I die and that there's no heaven or hell, my soul just wandering around? I hope that there is a heaven. I'm thinking the positive side, that I could erase, that I could create your, that you, one could create your own heaven, and that I could just listen to more music and eat more pizza. Hey, that sounds like good place. Sounds good. Mikey says, and I know you're joking, I am doomed to be a denizen of the Black Lodge. No, you're not. That's what you want? Ah, well, I mean, look, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack, right? But and of course, look, I've had lunch with Claudio B, and we've discussed this subject a couple of different times, but I don't think I ever expressed that I had deep anxieties about it. I think that I had we had conversations about that very thing, loved ones visiting, or something where we get a glimpse of something. And while that's good, and I think that it can be good, I can't say for certain that that solves it. Um, you know, Mark and Angela Acuna on Facebook say, as we get older in life, I think I think we think more about death or the glass coming to the end. So enjoy life. Well, I could definitely agree with that. So on that note, let's play a song. This is for Alfonso. Alfonso. He requested this one on X. Um, uh, we'll keep that one for now. I thought I had a different one for visuals. It's one of those things. Oh, UFO cam will do. And we'll take this off. There we go. UFO cam, pray.
Life, death, death, life, death, life, death, life, life, death, life, death, life, death, death, life, death, life, death, life, life, death, life, death. I have seen a vision, moments lost in time. No one seems to know
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I lost the chat. Hopefully I didn't lose you, all of you, but I lost the chat. So yeah, that was Pray, and that was for Alfonso. Um, by the way, thank you, Alfonso. Um, so, sorry. Please put my camera on. Thank you. Oh, there we go. I need an assistant. Ah, man. So we're almost coming up on that hour. Um, so which is cool because I have like a little bit. Oh, we're doing all right. We're not doing too shabby. So the topic is death, and you know, look, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you a story. So the only person, well, I shouldn't say the only person because I've seen one person die. Um, but that was I saw an accident and that wasn't the same. Like I knew they were done, but it like there was no connection to the person. I felt it, but it wasn't the same. When my mom died, on the other hand, I was right there by her side when she died. And I was holding her hand. And she grabbed it really hard. Um, so I can tell you that the minute it was done, it literally was as if she left her body. There was literally nothing left. It seemed like a totality. Um, and it did have a very profound effect on me, actually. It was very, very strange. I mean, look, I've lost my grandparents. I lost my grandmother, my grandfathers. I lost my dad, but they were far away when it happened. I wasn't there. I only got the aftermath of, you get the news and all that. So, same thing with my uncles and certain people in life. There's very few that I was able to interact with. Um, on that level. Yeah, like Lisa says on Facebook, and poof, they are but a shell. That literally is what it felt like. I was holding her hand. She held on to it really tight, and then suddenly it was like it was just done. And it was it was a very profound experience for me. Um, Terrifying, sure. Um, Was I happy that at least I was there? Absolutely. Um, and but it 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 somehow got into my head a little bit, you know. Well, well, I don't want to get into that. Like I said, when we get into too much religion, some people like to tune out. So I kind of keep it balanced so that and George says, I'm terrified of my parents passing. Yeah, man, I know I'm telling you, like, well, the only thing I can say is while they're alive, enjoy them to the fullest. Visit them, talk with them, get their history. That is one big regret that I have with my mom and all that is that I never got to really know their history. Like, I never got to really, really talk to them about their life. So I only have, hand me down stories, which are fine, but they're not the same. Like I didn't get the whole like this is where I went to school and this is how I grew up and this is where my near like I didn't get all that. In particular, I didn't get that from my grandparents, which is really sad for me because my grandparents were like they were like my parents. So for me, losing them and not really knowing their whole history was a huge blow. Um, So that is something to think about. And that's another reason why I think I got into songs and trying to do that. Um, you know, it's good to get those stories from your loved ones, because at least you're keeping them alive. So whether it's the end and there is nothing else, at least here, while we're here, we can continue to celebrate their lives and all the things that they did that were good for us. Um, Claudio B says, great advice. Well, thank you. I don't know that I'm good at advice, but thank you. I'm thankful that I always got all that from my grandparents and parents. I spent hours and hours listening to their stories. That's good. I mean, I know some of my mom's stories, but there's a lot that I don't know. And there's a lot that I found out only later because apparently my sister knew more about my mom's life than I did. So that was kind of interesting. Lisa says, we all have we all have a hard time with babies, young people, and self-inflicted deaths. We expect those that are elderly to pass, but it's still hard. Yeah, it's almost like I don't know. I think that we feel like they're gonna last forever. Like it's not gonna last forever. In fact, every day that and this is not I'm not by any means saying you need to do this, but this is a practice that I've had forever, which is what made this more perplexing for me, is that when I wake up, I'm always like, I'm so grateful that I get to live another day. I'm very grateful that my loved ones are alive. I'm very grateful that I get to do the things that I get to do and interact with the people I interact with. I love that and I cherish it. I appreciate it. I show my gratitude for it when I wake up, and I show my gratitude. I guess you're going to have to understand that. Look, I am on the Christian side, so I can say, look, I have personal relationship with God, so that at night, yes, I do pray and all that stuff. So yes, I wasn't always that way, but I have been in the last couple of years, um, slowly returning to where I started. Um, but the overarching feeling is that whatever's next, whether it's silence, and that silence could last a long time, whether it's a transformation into different sort of energy that is like being asleep for a very long time, it's still not here. It's not the here and now. And everything that I myself have done or that we have done, basically that stops. So the only thing that you've got is to not only get the stories from your loved ones, but I also think it's important to tell your stories, period, so that those around you hear your stories, because that's the other side of it. You need to tell your stories, especially if you have kids. You should tell them your stories, um, because there's going to be a time when they'll be more, I don't know, open to the idea of hearing these things. I you know, that's where I'm gonna leave it for that. Ah, it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna play something that you've never heard before. I'm just gonna do it to change the tone a little. Oh, sorry, but I'm gonna get to this one first because it just popped on my feed. So Steve says, in my case, having lost my parents 20 years apart, I'll say that losing someone relatively early is so much harder. I completely agree with you, man. This is kind of how I was. You remember when it was what it was like when I lost my grandparents? It was weird, man. It was strange. But like I said, I had never experienced true death until I started to. I mean, I lost my mom first, then friends, then even on this stream, we lost someone. It's like it's crazy stuff. So, and believe me, it sometimes it gets into my head also, by the way. And I talked to Mikey about this a while back. I know we had a conversation about it, and I'll get to the song in a minute. But I think that one of the things that happened was that as I've gotten older, the fans have also gotten older. And so the fans will come to the shows and say, "Hey, do this song for my sister, do this song for my brother, do this song for my mom." And sometimes that does weigh a little heavy on me, man. It's not easy every time. And sometimes if I get 3 or 4 in the same night, it like makes me think like, is the whole world like dying? So like to me, it's it's like a push pull that I have to play with in my own head, if that makes sense. Because on the one hand, you know, I'm doing a show and I'm trying to have fun and have these intense fun moments. And at the same time, there's some serious shit going on. And I don't mean just within my scope of life, because it's so infinitesimally small when you compare it to the whole of the world. But in the world and other people's lives, there's all these other things going on, and we're all intertwined. So, anyway, you can understand how, like, it could get, it could somehow get to me at some point. And I think that this week, if for whatever reason, this effing song did it to me. And I think it was because I was working on the recording. So anyway, but enjoy it because this is like more fun stuff after that. Oh gosh, I'm terrible. Uh
I am so afraid. I am so afraid.
Yeah, it just cuts off because I'm not done with it. So that was that. So you see where this is going. So yeah. I am working on it. I am. Thank you. So, oh, Steve. Steve says, speaking of so afraid. Sorry, Steve. If you post it on the chat, I got to read it. Um, Speaking of being so afraid, being out here on my own in my own world and away from my California family, when I do pass on, I fear how long it would take before someone knew. I look at the recent situation with the passing of Gene Hackman and his wife. Yes, by the way, rest in peace, Gene. Um, the authorities say the couple may have been dead for over a week already. Yes, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, of course. Of course. Well, that means you can like, okay, you could do check-ins like every week, and if I don't hear from you, then I gotta fly over to Florida or something. We're gonna have to figure that out. Call me every 3 days. I don't know, whatever you gotta do. You have to change that. Um, oh, that's nice of you, George. Claude, thank you for introducing a difficult and profound topic tonight. Difficult, yes. Profound, I don't know. Is it? Is it really? Or is it just death? But thank you. Thank you. You're appreciated more than you know. You are appreciated more than you know. Bramble. Lost my son's mom to ALS, then my mom to cancer, then I went through a toxic divorce. My saving grace, Rick Pino's music ministry. When I thought I was all alone, I played leaning on my beloved. Good, man. It's good. God is good. I'm never gonna deny that. That's awesome. You know, you have to find your way to you have to find your way to the path that leads you to the best life you can have. And I think, I don't know, this is just me. You don't have to agree. But I think there's certain parts that I do feel you do got to get right with, you know, the higher power, man. And I think that's important. But for me, I don't know. I know that for other people, it's not like that. But I used to be, you know, everything was about science. And for whatever reason, that didn't work out for me. Um, Bill Warren says, great book, other verses. Thank you. Thank you for changing subject. That's good, actually, Bill. That's good. Um, Fernando says, thank you for your, gracias por tu música, tu hermosa música. Gracias, Fernando. Thank you. Um, um, I mean, I think it's profound because we think about it every day. I'll give it that. I'm answering Rose Garden there on YouTube. I love this conversation, by the way. I want to tell you that I'm enjoying it. It is a lot like some sort of crazy therapy for me. And I owe it to you. I owe it to all of you for this. Like I said, it's been a weird week in that sense. It has a lot to do with this stuff going on too with the who back there, the strangeness going on with all the major label stuff. And it's because I want to get it all done and settled before I pass. I want all the things that go with that legacy to go to my kids and my grandchildren and and my family. I don't want it to just be out in the world where somebody says, "Oh, good, he's gone. Now we can use it to do porn or something." I don't, you know what I mean? Like, so maybe that's selfish, but it is my material. So that is one reason I think that it's been on my mind more. Um, that's funny. Who? Oh, Mark and Angela Kuna. You got to tell me who you're talking about there. You say I don't know if I understood it correctly, so I'm gonna read it. Claude, talk about death. They kill, demolish Club Rock Island. I saw you perform in the 90s. Oh, you're saying that thing is gone? Ah, sad. It's sad when places that we knew are gone. Um, I remember on my recent trip to and I'm glad you brought that up, actually. On a recent trip to New Jersey, Mikey and I were driving around, and he took me over to the area where the Loop Lounge once stood, and it was crazy because there was no trace that that had ever been there. And to me, it was like, yeah, it's just a place, but it's one of those weird situations where you're assessing it like, is this what it's like? Something gets erased and then it's as if it was never there. It just looked like a normal neighborhood on a normal street. I didn't even recognize the street itself. So I love the brevity here. Thank you for that. TMT mixes. You'd need more funky bass before it's porn worthy. Good. Then I'll stay away from funky bass for a while. At least until until I'm sure that I can, like, get everything done. But yeah, I guess mortality reared its ugly head this week, and like I said, with all the other things. Yeah, no, I know. We drove by there too. The pipeline. He's adding. Mikey says the pipeline Aldo's completely gone. So yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. In fact, yeah, even here. So there used to be like, and this is before the pandemic, so I can't even blame this one on the pandemic, but before the pandemic, there was an artist studio that I used to pass on Broadway in Long Beach that was really cool. And the guy would put his paintings up near the easel, near the awning, so you could see it. Like as you passed by, you could see like whatever he was working on. And I used to love passing by there. And he would put these really cool dolls up, and I took pictures of them. Actually, I actually have film of this. And then from one day to the next, it was gutted, empty, and now it's like a sex shop. I kid you not. Um, no, it's next to the sex. There's a sex shop and an Indian food place, and before that, it was an artist studio, and it's just crazy. It's just totally gone. So Lisa says on Facebook, Broad Street in San Antonio has been turned into retail shops. Yeah, man, like it's crazy, man. So it's not just the death, let's say, of our physical existence. It's also watching the decline or the death of places that we knew. Um, so I think that definitely affects us, because I think it starts to get into your head, and it starts to infect our thoughts about, where is this all going? You know, I guess that's what I'm trying to say, but I digress. Take a swig of whatever drink you brought. For me, it's tea, but it's helping. Let's play a song. This was brought up on X. Not exactly a request, but I was happy that this person brought up this song. So this is for Kroot on X. This is Please Find a Way. And I'll turn on the visuals. Thank you. That was Please Find a Way from certain versions of Worth had that in there, but it's on the Hope Worth um, CD. That's the one that I played it off of. TMT Mixes says, I've heard the death card in the tarot card deck doesn't actually mean death in the literal sense, but rather the end of an old way and the beginning of a new way, entering a new phase in a sense. Well, that would go along with the idea that Lala was talking about earlier, that we change into something else um, entirely. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm favoring the idea of just going to sleep and then waking up when things are much different. I kind of find comfort in that in some weird way. Um, so I can deal with so I've thought about it a lot. Like I'm telling you, this has been one of the most contentious uh thoughts that come and go in my head. Everything that I do with music, art, you name it, is always at some point an outcropping of that initial, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Um, Although, look, I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna like, you know, uh, oh, raise a few eyebrows here, but so one of the things that definitely gave me um, comfort all throughout life, even when I was, not believing in anything, was that when I was young, and when I'm saying young, well, I'm gonna tell you, I'll just tell you. Um, I remember that my first self-aware moment, meaning that I was self-aware of myself, was as I lay in a crib and I could see the stars outside the window. And this was in Argentina. I was just a few months old. I couldn't even speak yet, but I remember the thought. And that's what was that's what always comes back to me. It's almost as if there's like a little knocking on my brain that's duh, don't you remember the thought? And the thought was, I will go home someday. This is temporary. I remember this. And it was it was literally in different languages because I remember thinking it like in English, which I had yet to speak. I hadn't even said mom yet or dada or nothing. And I remember the thought was not formed in a language that I could even explain to you, but I remember it. I remember the thought vividly. It was one of the first things I ever wrote down as I got older was I still remember that night. I still remember looking at the stars and thinking, I will go home. This is temporary. So there is a side of me that thinks it'll be nice to just, when it's my time, just go to sleep. And when I wake up again, I'll be somewhere else. And if I don't wake up, then I'll just keep sleeping. It'll just be like a nice, gentle sleep. Because obviously, the body does decay. So there'll be nothing left. It'll just be bones and dust and everything else. And, yeah, that is kind of sad. But because we're all in love with some aspect of our physical body, in some way. But I'm not as worried about that as I am the idea of no thought. I think that scares me more than like some people are like, "Oh, if you put me in the ground, I'm gonna decay." And, other people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be cremated because that's, you're being burned." And it's like you won't feel anything. So the body itself dying doesn't really bother me as much as what happens to this, like the inside. Like that's the part that bugs me. So, and it always have, you know. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Bramble. I might take you up on it. That's funny. I like what you said there. I would love to hear your testimony someday. I've prayed for you, and maybe there's a door for ministry. Not every 80s, 90s pop singer hosts the show. This is true. This is true. I don't know that I'd make a good minister, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But let's just say I'm all right with Jesus. Jesus is good. So I'm good. Um, now that was funny. Elizabeth on Facebook says, I'm already decaying. We're all decaying. So yeah, that part doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me as much for some reason. I'm always more, worried about, the other side of it. So, Rose Garden says, Japanese culture says that the spirit sticks to the body for 3 days. That's interesting. I'll have to read up on that. By the way, I'm fascinated by this stuff. So I will read everything and anything. I keep my mind open. But, I told you, my heart's already like kind of in that mode. But, I'll tell you this. I'll say this. As of this very moment, I'm less afraid of it, or I have less anxiety over it than I've had in a while. So, whatever it was, I think it all came to a head this week. I feel like something's lifted where I don't feel that nagging fear. Now, I still want to get as much stuff out as possible. I still want to create things as much as possible. Selfishly so for myself, of course, and also because I want people to have it. Now, that says whatever it says. But if I wake up, it's like Emilio's saying on YouTube, if I wake up wearing a new spacesuit, hey, it's all good. It'll just be sad if I don't remember. Because remember, in Indian culture, you come back. Remember, they believe you come back. No one said that on the chat yet. But they're like, you get reincarnated and you come right back, but you don't retain any of the self you were before. And I think that sucks. I don't like that either. I've never believed that whole idea of you have to learn a lesson, and if you didn't learn the lesson, you become reincarnated to relive it and do it again. It's like that doesn't make sense logically because sorry, so I know I'm rambling here, but it doesn't make sense logically to my scientific side of my brain or even my spiritual one, where I think what would be the point of wiping all your memory and all your experiences because you didn't learn a lesson rather than just taking a makeup test and saying like, yeah, this is where you screwed up and you get to try it again. So like, make sure you do it. And if all that's wiped, I mean, like what would be the point? Then you're just on an endless treadmill until you're just on an endless treadmill coming back and coming back and coming back. I don't, that kind of thing, kind of bugs me. And, but I guess, I can't judge it. Watch, just because I said that, I come back as a rock. Like, what did you become? I became a butterfly. What about you? I got a rock. Tell me where that's from. Let's play a song. Let's play a song while the drone cam's on. Oh yeah. Let's play a song. So this is from the Jersey side. This was recorded on my Reel to Reel 1988. And this was half written by me and my friend Tito. He wrote the lyrics actually, and I love them, and so I put it to music. But I made it my own right away. This is Destinations.
Sit on a bus on a clear day. Show yourself to me. I promise you. One day I'd like to take a journey, a continuous one with no end in sight, an infinite trip to nowhere. Even though I don't want to go, I still end up going to my unwanted goal. Man's need of survival, his daily job. Show yourself to me. Maybe one day we'll all be free. Show yourself to me. I promise you I'll do anything. I'll sit on a bus on a clear day. I'm pondering the meaning of the ride. The last stop I'll make will lead me to another ride in my destination. Although I don't want to go, I still will end up to my unwanted goal. Man's only means of survival, his daily job. Show yourself to me. Maybe one day we'll all be free. Show yourself to me. I promise you I'll do anything. I promise you.
So I gotta say something for the tech nerds because I'm gonna change the subject so that we end it on a high. Although we can keep talking about death. Oh well, some of the songs are gonna talk about death. So, but anyway, no, I have to tell you something cool for those of you who are the tech. If you're techies, look this up. I'm gonna type it into the chat. Look this up on Google or Grok. I just found like this cool. I found a plugin that just may change everything for me. Talking nerd stuff here. And it relates to this somehow. I had a drum machine. The drum machine that is on the song that I just played from '88 is one of my favorite pieces of gear that I no longer have. And this thing, what it does is it reads the old cartridges from those machines, and is able to play them and treat them as if it was that machine. And it's unfreaking believable how good it is. And I was looking through the library because I just got it today because that's how I kind of like I treated myself to something. But as I was like looking through it, I noticed in the library that Tom is in there, which is the drum machine I used to have. So all the weird things that Tom used to do, I can do it again. So it's kind of cool because now if I wanted to recreate something from that time period, I could. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to say that because I played the song and it just reminded me. And a couple of the songs I'm going to play, I think, have it. Did I play everything? No, I didn't play everything. There's 2 songs left. But anyway, yeah, it's never an easy subject, is it? But I just want you to know that if you need the comfort, if you want to talk about it or you want to continue this conversation, you're totally welcome to ask me questions on Facebook, X, wherever it is. Just think about it this way. We've never had this chance before. Like I never had the chance to talk to people that I went to go see in concerts. You do. You have a chance. So like anything you want to ask me, just throw a comment in. Believe me, I read everything. It takes me a while sometimes to respond to like comments and things, and I'll explain why. It's one of those weird things. It's like it's a side thing about the death thing. But I will say this: it's very difficult for me to not get sucked up into the new stuff that happens every day because every day there's something, and I don't think that's ever going to go away. I don't care what the world is going through, it's going to be something every day to get your attention and to take it away from whatever it is you're trying to do. Whatever it is. If you're trying to write a book, the social media thing and all those things are going to take your attention. If you're trying to paint, it's going to take your attention. And it's always going to be something, it's never something good. It's always going to be death, mayhem, crime, and politics, and all this weird shit, right? So it's difficult sometimes because it's my job. It's literally my job is supposed to be like, look at me, I'm a pop tart, I'm supposed to promote things and I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. And it's like, I don't really want to. Most of the time, I don't want to. So believe me when I tell you that the best thing that I enjoy the most about my day is when I look through comments because if I'm going to be distracted by anything, I would rather be distracted by answering your comments and having conversations about anything that's on your mind rather than me doom scrolling on the side while I'm trying to post a flyer for the next show and things like that because that's what happens. So I would rather have comments in my feed because it just makes life easier. So I know that may sound selfish. But it also helps the algorithm and all that crap too. It makes my job easier, which is good. But honestly, I really do enjoy it. For me, it's like going to have a cup of coffee with a friend. So which is by the way, Steve knows this. That's my favorite thing to do. You can ask Steve. Whenever we get together, we go eat somewhere. And that is literally what we do. We go eat somewhere late at night and we talk. We used to do this all the time in the studio. We would be finished with something at the end of the day and we would all go to a taco place and have tacos. So I miss that because I don't have anyone that's close anymore. Everybody's far. So believe me, I'm leaning on you in this sense. That's another reason I think all these weird thoughts creeped into my skull. It's like, I don't see anybody. I mean, of course, I have my girlfriend. She's wonderful. But you know what I mean. It's like you want to get together with people and you want to have your coffee or, you're going to do guy talk, which is stupid. And all we talk about is stupid drum sounds and weird synth stuff, And yeah, like Claudio says, synth not working when you want to work on something. By the way, I so screwed up the CSQ, I think. But it's not my fault. It was already messed up. It was already wonky. So it was, anyway. I will try to fix the other one because I want to go through these cartridges and see what's on them. Um, and I want to properly document them and, you know, but yeah, bug me, bug me, bug me. It's good. It's good for me mentally. Spiritually, it's good for me. So, so yeah, that'll definitely stop me thinking about, you know what. So anyway, I've got a song here. Let's see who picked this one. Who picked this one? Because this was a good one. Ah, so this was Ralph on Facebook. He wanted to hear the end of a beautiful story. And you know, I hadn't played this one. I don't know if I even played this once on the stream because I couldn't find it on my hard drives. I actually had to give myself a download code um, to grab the album and download it for myself. I don't even think this was archived on my hard drive. I don't even know where this song was. So if it wasn't for Bandcamp, and that's another reason you should follow me on Bandcamp. I digress, but you should. But oh, I'll drink that after. But but yeah, this is from Unknown Destinations on Bandcamp. The end of a beautiful story. Here you go. Take it away, Mio son.
You can keep the flowers, I don't want them. Take up space held in my hands. So please don't speak, no, not a whisper. Only a breath as we walk away. Are we just like the empty shadows linger about the world we live, walking blindly and always searching for mountain peaks that never move? We're alone, all alone. Yes, all alone. All alone. And if you dance with me for a little while, you can see the end to a beautiful story. Dance with me for a little while, see the end to a beautiful story. Da
funny. That was like literally all ESQ. Now that I was listening to it, I was like, oh, that's ESQ. And that's like the old Yamaha drum machine. Uh, no, it does not have a Disney vibe. Gosh, no. Um, so yeah, so we're coming to that time, and I've got one song left to play, and it's not very long. So I'm gonna give you the last monologue of the evening to like kind of So Todd says, I'm out of practice. Years ago, I had gotten uh, uh, the point of hand swapping surface mount chips, but I haven't done that type of soldering in more than half my life now. Yeah, man, I never got good at it. I am terrible at it. I am like so terrible at it that I've messed up stuff. So the fact that I didn't destroy the CSQ is a miracle, but I was like proud of myself that I got it to work, and I was like, okay, the battery's in. I did it. I actually soldered it on. And then of course it was like, so it's like, this one's dead. The one that's downstairs, I can tell you that the one that's downstairs is good. It needs a battery, but everything is working. I was able to hear it and everything sounds fine. So that one will be okay. It just sucks because that one has a broken keyboard. Like there's like a couple keys that are just gone. So I think what I could do if I really wanted to like do some crazy Frankensteining, I would take the innards, the keyboard bed from this one that's in my closet and put it in a different one. It's not worth it. Rose Garden says, "Why don't you pay, Claude? It's not worth it. It's at this point, it's not worth it. It's just 99.9% of all the sounds that I've ever had since 1986, I still have. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just certain things that I just want to get off these cartridges. And the reality is, if I get it to just go from cartridge to file, I'm good. After that, I'll be done. It's not going to be, it's not that important to me anymore because I have this instrument in software now, and I have every sound I've ever made archived, so I don't really need it. Like there's no physical need for it. But I'd rather spend my money on a new mic, on preamps, and things that I do want to make music with, rather than something that I would repair only to use it for one day to take everything off of it. So, and like I said, I'm lucky. I have two of them. So I have another one I could try, which is what I'm going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to dig out the other one from the garage and see if I can solder on that other battery and make it work. Its battery is sitting right here. I've got it. No, it's not drugs. It's a battery. Watch, someone's going to screenshot and said Claude showed drugs on his channel. No, it's a battery. What's really cool is that, just saying, the ESQ battery used to cost $80 each. So every time you had to change a battery, it was $80. It was an $80 thing right off the bat. I got the batteries for $5 each from an electronic parts store, and they're the real thing. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of nice. Yes, it's another one I can destroy. Now I know. Very simple. So some of this stuff gets tiring. You know what I'm talking about, right? So, um, for those who know, they know. But yeah, I will be able to repair it tomorrow because it's an easy repair. Um, it is actually easy. But this one is going to be fun to just sample because it just makes weird noises. So I think that what's funnier is that if it keeps making weird noises and it stays that way, I'd rather have that one for music because I can just sample the bejesus out of it. You can actually. Todd's asking me, can you socket the battery? What's cool about these is that it has terminals. The battery now comes with terminals. So I can literally clip the ends and turn the board on and not have to solder it. And I know this is going to sound really cheesy, but I also have soldering glue, which is it's the next best thing because you can wrap the wire around it, put the dab of glue in, it keeps it. You're good. Um, like I said, I only need it to last a few days. But the other one, I think it has a bad board because it was already acting bad from the get go. It's been bad for a while now. I think um, I think TMT Mixes brought it up a long time ago when I showed some demos off of that ESQ that he said the filters were off and they were doing weird things, and I tuned them and they still were doing weird things. So it's already happened. Um, and no, the battery doesn't get soldered to the board directly. There's actually there are cables and leads, so it should be fine. But anyway, it'll be fine. I digress. Cheers. So we've come to that end. So I'm going to play this last song. This last song was for Edward on Facebook. This is going to be Autumn. And I will just say goodnight now. I'm going to enjoy a nice, yeah, no, it's not a cracked soldier, Claudio. It's actually, it looks like what happened to this ESQ. Here, I'll explain it. The guy I bought it from, he was very proud of this. He says, I took the battery out and I put a regular battery holder in so you can just use double A's for the memory. And I was like, does it work? And he's like, it works perfect and it lasts for years. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. So I remember turning it on and it worked and I put on headphones. Everything's great. And of course, like a week later, it's like, so I was like, yeah, it doesn't last a long time. The double A's would last like maybe a month at best. So I think it was already messed up from doing that kind of wonky mod on it. So that's probably, you know, how can you get a shirt? What do you mean? This shirt? This is a band. This is a band, Isopod. I'm wearing his shirt. So, but anyway, you guys have a good evening. Don't think about death. Think about life. Remember the little saying that preceded this entire thing. It is because you will die someday that the days that you are alive can have meaning. So find meaning by living your life to the fullest. Enjoy the people you love. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy a good night out. Enjoy your coffee. Enjoy your puzzles and your music and your art and make stuff. No, we're not going to get into that stuff. We're not going to talk about politics. So good night. This is for Edward on Facebook. This is Autumn. And with this, I bid you good night. Good night.
Really matters. We all turn to dust. You know that nothing is forever. Everything will end in silence. Nothing has a reason. Until it's defined by us, and nothing is illusion. As long as you have the will to look, to give of our hearts, replace the things that hurt to create